Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 200 of the Nope Coach podcast. We made it. 200 episodes. Go your no way. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. And that song, Go Your No Way. I had to do this for November for two reasons. One, so to clap back to episode 1, which was Go Your Own Way. And 2, it's November. So what do I mean by go your no way? So many of us get caught up in doing things a particular way. I'm laughing as I'm recording this because I literally just hit record and now my neighbors have decided to whippersnipper once again, weed whacking for those of you overseas. And it's so loud. And I know the mic's pretty good, so it may not come through at all. But talk about distracting my train of thought. Trailblazers don't have anybody to follow because they're trailblazing. And often when we think, well, when I think of trailblazers, we think of big names, established names, industry, national, international names. But we can all trailblaze in our own way, or our no way, so to speak. What are you called to do, tempted to do, inspired by, excited by, but you've never seen anybody do it this way before, and you've let that hold you back thus far, up until now? It's another thing I like to say when I catch a thought or a behavior or something. I'm like, oh, I've always been this way up until now. Gives you that way out. When I started this show 200 days ago, first of all, shout out to those of you who've been with me the entire time. And for those of you who've joined along the way, but have listened to the entire catalog. I was chatting to 2 people today, both of who were like, oh my gosh, I just listened to episode 199. I'm excited for tomorrow. And then let me know they've listened to every single one. Wow. I did not expect that. When I began this as a daily show, I didn't realize how far it would go. And also both people who have listened to every episode know and reflected back to me that I might not do the full 365. I think part of going your own way or your no way is knowing when an ending is necessary. Sometimes in life, we struggle with endings. A lot of people think they struggle with beginnings, but we start a lot. It's the follow through that we struggle with, or the ending, because there's discomfort in ending. Sometimes it's easier to go with the flow, maintain the status quo, stay with what's known, even if it isn't serving us. And I remember Rob Bell, he was on a few episodes ago, but in one of his books, he says a line which has stayed with me forevermore. It's like, when we don't do endings well, what should have been a celebration or a graduation becomes a divorce. So part of going your no way is knowing when it's time for something to come to an end. An ending doesn't need to be a bad thing. Another person I follow about endings, Henry Cloud, he's got a book called Necessary Endings. In nature, a season ends to herald a new one. Yet somewhere along the line in life, we have let go of that. We live in a society where if you want an apple at 2 a.m., depending on where you live, I live in Sydney, not far from CBD, I've got 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to things that nominally and not that long ago were seasonal things that you could get. So the current day person fears endings so much because, we've been spoiled in many ways for choice and access. Like, I remember I was saying something to my kids the other day about when I was a child, how when we made a phone call, we had to put 30 cents, because that's how much a local call cost, into the money box next to the phone to contribute to the phone bill. And then if we ever made a distance call, like, we had to pay for that. And, how mobile phones weren't common, or cell phones, once again, depending on where you live. And then when they were, it was only, free calls after a certain hour. It wasn't all that long ago. But now, with such easy access to so many things, the more accessible and at the point of your fingertips everything's become, I think the more we've feared endings, and a lot of us have accumulated stuff, like a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. And if you like it and enjoy it, you do you. But if you're just accumulating it because of fear of missing out or fear of an ending, after every season ends, a new one begins. Sometimes you are in the mystery. I like the mystery better than the unknown. Like, as soon as I think into the unknown, I said that without singing, Frozen fans in the house, or Frozen 2, I should say. But, you know, the unknown for me feels a lot scarier than the mystery. But if you know that something's coming to an end, a job, friendship, a relationship, a place that you live, a season of something, but you can't communicate that ending because of fear of the mystery or fear of the unknown, if the mystery doesn't work for you, then how often do you stay stuck or stay somewhere where you shouldn't? And then, as in the words of Rob Bell, what should have been a celebration or a graduation, or of course, this time is ending, this has been fab, but I'm done now, becomes a divorce or a messy or a sticky situation because you've stayed too long. Reflecting on my own life, I can think of many examples of times where I had the nudge, like, you know, we're done here, but I didn't want to rock the boat, or I didn't want to be seen as a bitch, so I stayed, or I kept doing something, and the seed of resentment was planted. And from that place, you know, we're sunk. So part of what I want you to take from today's episode, going your no way, what in your life could be a friendship, could be a relationship, could be a commitment, could be somewhere that you volunteer, could be a sports team, could be a hobby, could be a job, or not just a job, but it could be a particular client or a contract, or, you know, something that you're doing simply because you feel a sense of obligation. It's not bringing you joy. It's not even bringing you, it's the mere thought, like, you know, say you are volunteering and you're baking things to sell at a market to raise money for something, and the second you crack out your flour and open your fridge to get your milk, you're like, oh, I don't want to bake these cookies. Or does this thing need to come to a close, this contract? The other thing that's coming to mind is, you know, a contract or a client or something. Or does the dynamic need to shift, and the idea of asking for more money, more time to deliver, more, you know, something else freaks you the fuck out? Because sometimes, you know, we stay in a thing and it's no longer serving us. And it's that fear of asking for a pay rise or an extended period that we're like, oh, they might reject us. But the thing is, whenever you make a shift like that, I can think, you know, I've been in business for 6 years now. There's been a number of times where I've had price increases. There's many reasons behind that. The cost of living has risen and continues to rise. My skill set, like the ability that I have to coach, and that compared to where I was in the beginning, all of these things shift and change, and often our audience does too. So if fear of the unknown, fear of the mystery is something that is potent for you, I did an episode called The Empty Elevator. It was early. I think it was in the 20s or 30s. Go and listen to that one. I really highly recommend it. And also the episode Reason, Season, Lifetime. Because sometimes when something comes to a close and we go our no way, then later in another season, we reconnect again. I've had this happen with friendships. I've had this happen with clients. I've had this happen with, you know, things that I've done. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to do that again, like a career choice or a contract or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, here I am doing it again. But is it the same? Because I have changed. So, and so have they. But if we didn't let each other go in order to circle back, then we couldn't forge this stronger or fresher connection. So that's all I have for you. Episode 200 in the house. For those of you who've listened to every single one, thank you so much. For those of you who are new, welcome. Let's see where this goes coming forward. If you would like to be on the show, I would love to have you complete an application. If you go to my website, suzanneculberg.com, click on podcast, scroll down, there is an application form there. Preference goes to people who actually listen to the show and are familiar with the format and how it goes, but I'm really open. If you've listened to many episodes, you know, we have a wide range of guests and topics. And for some people, I'm honored to have been the first podcast they have been on, and it's been fabulous. And for other people, they're totally seasoned guests and they speak all the time. And wherever we talk about, I'm sure it will be beneficial to someone. So if you've got an inkling of something you want to speak about that you think the Nope Coach podcast is the one for you, I don't mind if you haven't done a show before. All I ask, and you'll see it on the application form, is that you are somewhere that is relatively quiet, she says, recording the episode with a neighbour's weed whacker / whippersnipper, but it can't come through. You have a good microphone, or inbuilt microphone in your computer is good, and it is a video podcast, so you're happy to come on video. And yeah, I'll be in touch. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.